This episode of Catch the Craze is brought to you by.
We have just a few reasons why you should pick up a copy of Gets Nearly to My Toilet, book number 3, I Chihuahua, today. You'll join all of the others and pick up a copy today.
What's up, George? What's going on in the House of Craze tonight?
In the House Craze tonight, we have Mr. D.W. Howard, and we're going to be talking to him about a new endeavor he's got going on. The comic book is called BloodWorld, and it's from Rain Cross Press. We're going to be talking to him. And we're also going to be talking about crowdfunding. Has crowdfunding become a crutch? We're going to talk about that next, coming up.
Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the Dreamer, Medina, and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the craze. If you are an independent, catch the craze. Making moves on your own, catch the craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the craze. Join the movement, catch the craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze Podcast. I'm your host with the most, Sam, the Crazy Man Vera, and I am with
George, the Dreamer, Medina. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. We are live. It is Wednesday, October 19th, 8 p.m. here on the East Coast. Sammy, you got 7 o'clock over there, and you got a hoodie. Looks like it's chilly out in the middle of the country. But yeah, no, welcome everyone. And thank you for coming on. If you haven't done so yet, before we get going with our guest and our topic for today, please make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. We are on the road to 1,000, and we definitely need you. I think we're at about 640. We're
the past couple of weeks has gone up, down, up. I was like, yo, who is like it's like someone like drinking when they're hitting the button, like pledge, subscribe. They probably at a bar laughing, like ha 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 ha.
A lot of teasing. Yeah, but yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well. And also comment. Make sure you throw some comments in there. We are live now, so if you're in the chat, say what's up. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, on Twitch, wherever you are, thank you for coming on. And make sure you hit the bell so that you know when we are going live, which it's normally either Tuesdays or Wednesday evenings, but definitely on Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. for the morning brew with the Crazy Crew. So we'll be talking tomorrow morning to you guys about another topic that Sammy had on Monday. So. Yes. Yeah, we got a lot going on. We're going to get into some of the things that we're doing now. But yeah, man, say what's up, Sam. Say what up, brother.
Hello. What's up? Right. What's up, everybody? It's like, how you doing? Yeah, what's up? It's this morning I woke up. I opened up because our bedroom, we have a door to the yard from our bedroom, and so I usually open the door, let the dogs out. When I opened that door, Jack Frost came rushing in. I was like, what the hell? I said, did the clock just move to December? Where did this frost come from? And so
you've been out there in Texas for what, like a year now?
A year there,
yeah. What was your first winter like? Like, was it as cold as it is over here in the Northeast?
Yeah, so Texas don't get snow, they get ice. So Texas is on a whole nother level. It's like the verge of the apocalypse. I don't know what it is over here. The weather is crazy, but yeah, it was last year. It was ice. There were cold days. Like you start off in the morning, chilly, then you get warm during the afternoon, and then plummets at night. But this was last year. I was here this time, and it didn't start getting cold till November.
Oh,
I
really?
mean, yeah, and we're in October. We're not even Halloween, and so I was talking to my father-in-law, and he said that, "Are you cold yet?" I was like, "Well, yeah. How'd you know?" He goes, "I saw it on the news." I said, "Well, I haven't watched the news in ages because of all the propaganda, so I didn't even know that death is coming our way, right? Right? What is it? What did he call those guys? The walkers, the White Walkers?
The White
Uh,
Walkers.
and they were coming my way. I didn't even know they
Winter
were
is
there.
coming.
He was standing out there on his horseback. He's just outside my door. I was like, "Burn this." Oh,
Oh
it's crazy.
man,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
we
nah,
did.
it is getting very very chilly here too. In New York, it was cold this morning. I mean, it warmed up in the afternoon, and now it's gotten a little chilly again. But it's we expect that here in the Northeast. So we'll see how the rest of the winter goes, or even the fall. I mean,
Yeah.
we may just go right into winter. I don't know, but
I
it's that
think
you can definitely feel it. You definitely feel the difference.
they're already saying that Texas is gonna have see, last year was supposed to be the worst winter ever. And now they're
Every
saying
winter,
this year's gonna be
bro.
the worst. Thank goodness I installed the generator because
Yeah.
so I told my wife, I think let's just stock up on rice. I said I can go with rice, bro. You
Sound like
know,
a true Puerto Rican, bro.
that's
Let's
it.
just stack up on rice. That's all I need to get by.
That's it.
Other than that,
Arroz.
no. Straight up rice. White rice. I don't care.
No, that's
Gotta
it.
get,
White
so
rice. Boom.
you cook your rice in oil or in butter?
None of the above.
What do you cook it in? Just water?
Just water.
Wow.
Sea salt and water. That's it, bro.
Sea salt
So
and
what I do
water.
is I warm up the pot first. And then I throw in the dry rice before I put in the water. And I let it get a little toasty. And then I drop in the water. And then it comes out
Yeah. No,
perfecto.
I gotta throw in the rice, the water, little bit of oil.
I don't do any
Just
of that stuff.
let it just go in there, soak it up, and then a little bit of salt. Bam, you're good to go, brother.
And then white rice with like 4 eggs over easy. Delicious. Delicious.
Don't sleep on that egg and rice. Don't sleep on that.
It's the
Don't
bomb.
sleep on it.
Yo,
Yeah,
you put some sea
man.
salt on there. Oh, it'd be nice with you have the eggs over easy with white rice with maduros on the side,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is sweet bananas, fried sweet bananas. What? And
Maduros.
if you have the you call it lattes, we call it café con leche. You got that on the side, it's over. It is over.
Yeah, man. Don't sleep on that.
That's
Listen,
a
man.
meal.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
then if you get the freshly baked bread with the butter, now that's it. It's heaven. That's
Yeah,
it. That's the icing on the cake.
bread and butter, bro. Bread and butter. You can't go
Uh,
wrong with bread and butter, brother.
no
Bread
more
and
bread
butter.
and
Listen,
butter.
I'm coming in a little grainy on your side, guys. If that's if you notice that, it's because apparently my building has decided not to pay for their Wi-Fi, and so
This is what
yeah,
happens
so
when you rent from Jack on the Block.
that's what it is, bro. That's what
It's
it
like
is. Yeah,
it's like,
don't let the pretty picture behind you fool you, man. I'm in the hood. But
whoa.
but yeah, brother. So speaking of, I don't even know what we were talking about. Bread and butter. Bread and butter. Let's go with bread and butter. Speaking of bread and butter, all
Uh-huh.
right.
Yes.
Right now, you're in the middle of a campaign.
We're the
Are you getting
last.
some butter? Are you getting some of that bread?
Oh man. Tops in the Bronx. Tops in the Bronx. Bangasaki. So anyway, yeah, so we moved up. We moved up. We had a couple of pledges to lay. So I'm hoping within the last
Yes.
23 hours of the campaign. So what is that? Right. And so I got today, it came. So if you wanted to know, Sam keeps talking about this 3-cover spread of Duty's Monsters on Planet Cthulhu. I'm gonna
Real
give
quick,
you
Sam,
the
before you
huh?
continue, are they all bagged and board?
Oh, yeah.
They're all bagged and board.
Yeah,
Just because you're getting a lot of glare and we can't really see the pictures.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. Hold on.
Yeah.
Just
Because
squeeze
of the
me.
plastic.
There you
The
go.
plastic is not letting you. Yeah, you're
I'm
still
gonna
getting it, but go ahead, go for it.
hold on.
Go. Continue
on.
the pitch.
Toma, look at this.
Yeah.
So this is a 3-cover spread of Duty's Monsters on Planet Cthulhu. So I gotta make sure I got the order right. This goes here. No, this goes. Yeah, this goes this way, and this goes this way. So if you want to know what the 3 covers look like, this is what they look like. And there's the bang, dong, dong, ding. Oh, the damn glare. There it is. Bah! There it is.
No, it's the glare, yeah.
So there it is. There's the 3 cover spread. So this is available on the campaign. Get it now. This is going to go fast. And not only that, I also got the sketchbook edition. So if you want to commission sketch cover, here's the Duties Monsters on Planet Cthulhu sketch cover. That's also available. I'm excited about that. I was like a kid in the candy store when they finally delivered. I was like, yes. So like I said before, there is no risk to you. I went and spent my own hard-earned money and printed everything so that way I can avoid the rush for the holiday season and ship it to you guys. So all I'm waiting is for the 14 days until I get paid back, and then I'll ship it to you guys, and you get it before Thanksgiving, before the holidays. And so if you're looking to get the Christmas present for your nieces and nephews or whatever it is, there's Nailed in My Toilet. There's Duties Adventures. There's also Duties Monsters on Planet Cthulhu. And the shirts. The shirts seem to be a hit. I mean, there's been a lot of shirt orders. So that's pretty cool. So I would love for you to get a copy. There's still 23 hours left. Let's end on a high note. We already have more backers than the second issue, but we're still less than the first issue. So I would love to get as close to that first issue backer count. And remember, we're 22 backers away from unlocking 4 digital comic books by 3 different indie creators: J.D. Calderon, J.D. Rosario, and Daphne Lage, plus a print for me. So you're getting 5 free things if we get to 75 backers, guys. So I'm excited about that. Let's get that light back on. Bang. There it is. There shall be light. And so yeah. So I'm excited. We're down to the wire, to the wire, to the limit, to the wild.
Kanye's out of control right now. No, good stuff, bro. Good stuff. And then this weekend, you're making an appearance at Cowtown. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Is it 3 days?
Saturday and Sunday.
2 days.
I gotta be there early, 7 a.m. on Saturday because there's no setup the day before, which sucks. And they open the doors at 9:30 in the morning on Saturday. So it takes me about an hour and a half to set up because I got a big display. So I have to get that. It means I have to leave here at 6 in the morning. Sucks. It feels like I'm going to work. And so Countdown's going to be fun. I'm going to have everything there. Not only Disney in My Toilet, but Forbidden, the graphic novel, free prints with every purchase of the graphic novel. There's going to be Duty's yearbook. If you're an artist or if your kid's an artist, come to the table. Do a quick sketch in Duty's yearbook of your version of Duty for a free bookmark or sticker, whichever you prefer. It's going to be fun. I'm looking to have a really good event and then meet up with Paul Gomez and Lori Calcaterra, and so it's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of indies there that I know, so it'll be cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. It looks like the community, the indie community in Texas is pretty. It's a large community, and seems to be tight. So big shout out to Lori Calcaterra, who has a Kickstarter right now. If you guys haven't seen it yet, Path of the Path of the Pale Rider.
Pale Rider, yes.
Path of the Pale Rider. It's on right now. Bougie Boo Circus by Paul Gomez is on. I'm sure you can find it on his website, so check that out. But also, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you go to getyourmeds.com for some of my apparel. I got some t-shirts. I got some comics. I got all kinds of stuff. Also, I wanted to just take the time right now real quick to just give a shout out to Wayward Raven Media, who also have a Kickstarter right now. It's called We Suck at Comics. That's their anthology.
Yeah,
they have tons of artists that are involved. Our good friend and buddy of the show here, Sebastian Bonet, has his book in that anthology, which I lettered for him. So if you guys haven't done so yet, go to Kickstarter. We Suck at Comics, an anthology about rejection. Check that out. They are doing pretty well. They're at 49 backers, $2,200, and they have 28 days to go. So yeah, just wanted to give them a quick.
Oh yeah, I also want to shout out Plainer James on Kickstarter. I mean, they're on fire, but we're cross promoting. He's 381% funded. I mean, his campaigns are always on fire. So his goal was 1,700. He's got 6,500 in, 216 backers. But shout out to David Wilburn, because he hit me up. He says, "Hey, do you want to cross promote?" I said, "Sure. I mean, your bank account exceeds mine. Absolutely. I'll take that one anytime. Thank you so for the support. Thank you for looking out for the little guy in the back seat." So that was dope. And and JD Calderon. I'm sorry, JD Rosario. We're also cross promoting. Ori Calcaterra, we're cross promoting. So just want to give a shout out to all these guys and gals.
Yeah, big shout out to everybody. and Kickstarter, crowdfunding. That's a good segue to the topic of the night on
Word.
Get Your Meds.
Yeah. But I feel like I got the sniffles.
It's time for your medicine.
Has crowdfunding become a crutch?
Wow. Has it become a crutch? Interesting. So, just so you guys know, we are your what up, kid? So we are doing a live version of our pre-recorded shows that we normally do. From now on, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna come at you guys live with topics. So the first, I don't know, 15 minutes will be us just doing our thing, 15 minutes of the topic, and then our guest is gonna come in. This is where we would love for you guys to come in and tell us how you feel, or whether you agree or disagree with the topic that we're going to be talking about tonight. The topic is just that, crowdfunding, and how reliable have we become? We become as indie creators, and I say we because I'm also an indie creator. Have we become too dependent on crowdfunding? Alive and being fly. Have we become too dependent? Have we, become a thing where like, all right, you know what? We're gonna not go into the stores. We're not gonna care about that. It's gonna be about the next Kickstarter. 2 months from now, 3 months from now, the next Kickstarter. What's going on, Gil? Has it become a crutch? Have we ignored everything else that we should be doing? What do you think, Sam? What do you think the status of the industry as indies is right now? What are you seeing out there?
I think I'll give two perspectives. From my personal perspective, it's become a burden because it takes up a lot of time, right? So which is why I'm working hard on the back end to try to not have that be a crutch for me. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I really want to do the grassroots stuff, go out in the field, go to Comic Cons, do book fairs, do all these things, so I don't have to depend on launching something on Kickstarter because it's 3 months of your time, before, middle, and end, and you're constantly worried about this thing. And so that's from my perspective. What I see is I still see the same mistakes that we were told when we first got into the game of the things to avoid, where people were just racing to Kickstarter, half baked, launching stuff because they think they're automatically going to get funded. So I think that there's a lot of different. It's become a way for indies to learn their marketing, get their stuff out there to a virtual audience. Yes, but I think you need to. I think you have to have a balanced approach. So yeah, so I think on some cases you'll see where that's all people do. There's no other presence anywhere else, but it's just constant Kickstarter. Or they don't even do events, or they don't even try to get into stores. They're just worried about Kickstarter. For me, on the other end, that's not the end all be all. The end game for me is brick and mortar. The end all be all is a build of a community that's loves what I do, loves the projects, and want the consecutive issues, the follow up issues. So yeah, it all depends. It all depends on whose perspective you ask.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and this is why I like doing this. Yeah, this is why I like doing like what we're doing now, where it's live, because we can get a big shout out to you, Sebastian. Thank you for coming on and giving us your perspective. Because sometimes, I feel like we need different perspectives from a younger creator, because or older creators. I think that for me and for you, I still think we work we work in the print. We still think in print media. We're still thinking comic book stores, right? And like, so the question is, and I hope they do. How much longer do we think that that's going to be around? Is it sustainable? Is print media still something that's going to be around? Because if it's not, then Kickstarter or these crowdfunding campaigns and these things on the internet are kind of like the wave of the future. This is how people are going to consume the media, right? So we have to kind of find a way to attract that audience. To me personally, I think crowdfunding is one way to reach your audience. It shouldn't be the end all be all, right? It should be a way to grow a fan base, just like getting into a stores for us was, just like going to conventions is. for us and other things. But I think that when we just strictly do that, and some people are very lucrative at doing it, you know.
Oh yeah, some
So
people. I mean, Brian
they,
Pulido, he kills it every
oh,
time.
bro, every single time. But I think that he still is being published, right? Like he's not. That's not all he does. He does other things, right? Other than right. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's still his stuff still gets published outside of crowdfunding. I think he's still yeah.
Yeah. So
So
the books are available. I think crowdfunding is a way to pay for the printing and all the other stuff that they do. I mean, each time he launches a campaign, he gets closer and closer to $1 million.
oh, dude. And I think that that's what we have to try to avoid so that it doesn't become just a crutch and that's all we're going to do. I think we need to work beyond the crowdfunding campaigns.
Yeah, let me just pull up some
Yeah.
comments.
Throw some of
We have
those
to
things up
figure
there.
out the happy middle that works.
Mhm.
Webtoons and global comics are tackling digital, helping peeps move from print. And then Gil says, printed
I
comics
agree.
are way better than this. I agree 100%. There's
I
nothing like
agree.
holding a comic in your hands. I think they do it, but then clicking on an arrow to the next page.
Dude, it is very frustrating to click. I mean, you know how many times I have to turn my phone sideways to be able to read the entire page? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, sure, you can read it like this, but like I have to turn it sideways, man, and zoom it in and stuff like that. And then you don't get to appreciate. So it's a different way to consume it. Me, and I agree with you, Gil. Personally, I prefer the printed media. I prefer it. I'm just afraid that I don't know how much longer that's going to be around.
But I don't think, see, I think it's generational too.
Mhm.
So I don't think the new generation really appreciates a physical copy of anything. Everything for
Correct.
them is virtual, it's meta, it's,
Mhm.
and
Quick.
so
It's
I mean,
it's
even when it comes to, I mean, it's the bare minimum. Even when they're furnishing their apartments, they'd rather focus on, the metaverse and this false reality. Let me see, what do we got here? So print is still a great media, but some artists can't afford print. If you can build the digital fans, you can then entice them with a printed version. Yeah, I think you have to have both. You have to have a balanced approach. But that's why, and same thing, like I said, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. Kickstarter isn't the end all be all. Crowdfunding isn't the end all be all. And you have to be able to have a multi-pronged approach to how you're going to get your product out to the masses. If you're focused, remember, Kickstarter is a small population of people. But how many times you go to conventions and I can tell you, like, 2 out of 3 people don't even use Kickstarter. They go to comic shops and conventions, right? So there's still a population of people out there that don't even know about that stuff, right? So you have to keep that in mind, and not be so singular in your approach. We got crowdfunding is good way to launch your creations, but it should not be something that creators continue to And if you collect the stories in a graphic novel, you can get more. Yep, I absolutely agree. Floppies are dying
Well,
out.
and it's pretty much because of what you said, to that Seabass, is because it's expensive to print, which is why these crowdfunders help print those single issues. But like Gilbert, like you said, bro, like I don't think that we should just be married to that
No.
because I believe that there is such a thing as just crowdfunding fatigue, bro. Like people
Yes.
eventually will get tired of just, yo, dude, I just don't have money this month to or this, whatever to put, because especially around this time of year, because this time of year people are getting ready for the holidays and people are
And
shopping
this
for
time of
gifts for
year,
their
there's a
family.
lot of launching crowdfunding. This is why I wanted to take November,
Yeah.
December off. I was like, I don't want to, I want to end it in October, get it over with, and then just ride out the holiday season because I know people are overwhelmed, and I know right now the floodgates are going to open with crowdfunding campaigns.
But I see, I don't get that. I don't understand why crowdfunding campaigns are the most popular now when people, I think, wouldn't spend that much money on crowdfunders at this point.
If you look at all, I mean, just go to Facebook, the Kickstarter groups. You're going to see how many are launching in the next couple of
Oh
weeks.
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, Kickstarters are always launching, bro. Like
Yeah, yeah,
you see that every
yeah.
month. There's a kick. I just think that this time of year, it's tough to make the money. I mean, I think you have to have an incredible product. You have to have an incredible following for you to be successful, and a lot of that is built, like you said, a month, 2 month, 3 months in advance,
Yeah.
before they even launch.
I agree. Is a great tool, Gil. It's just finding the happy middle. is trying to figure out audiences and building up fans. And David says, I love holding a comic. One of my upcoming comics has a 4-page fold-out battle splash. Nice.
Wow.
Hey, remember those 4-page pull-ups?
Yes.
The impact
Yes.
in print can never be duplicated. Yep, I
No,
agree.
you can't. You're
And
right.
crowdfunding should be done around Texas.
That's
Yeah,
the best time. That's
yes,
the best
yes.
time. Yeah. in
Another
April.
downside. What's up, Daphne? Another downside of Kickstarter is that I don't have the energy to do the amount of campaigns needed to release all the books I want to. Yep. And Gilbert says, I think creators should use crowdfunding until they fully understand the business side of publishing and then make attempts to do it on their own. Absolutely. It's just I'm falling apart after 5 campaigns. Yeah, but you guys are on a whole nother level with your campaigns. I'm falling apart at 5 campaigns. Yeah,
That's a lot.
I mean, I'm burnt out. That's it's a mental head game. It's exhausting.
I know.
You feel like, I'm not doing enough, so you wind up doing more.
You know what it is, and I think it's because you always want to be better than your last campaign.
Yes.
You always want to beat your last campaign. So that's the pressure you put on yourself,
Yeah.
because then you start thinking, okay, what did I do wrong on the other campaign, or what can I do better on this campaign? And it's a constant battle to get better, to compete with yourself, which is good, but you beat yourself up so bad that, like what Daph was saying, 5 campaigns a year, that's a lot. That's almost like, a book every 2 months or whatever. So that's a lot. That's a lot,
I mean, I'm doing 4 a year,
did
and
one,
just which is why I need the holiday season to detox.
Dude, I did 1 and I was done. And now it's about just using what I learned from it, completing what I have to complete, and maybe next year, maybe another one with maybe another title that I want to do. But yeah, no, I just think that talking about crowdfunding and how it can become a crutch, and not just a crutch, but a burden, to some extent also. We have to be careful with that. And I think that like Gil said, and a lot of the people it's just a means to an end, and it should not be the end all be all.
Right.
Patreon is another way to as an artist. I think as an artist, and I was talking to you about that, Sam. As an artist, that's a great tool. Patreon is another great tool to build a fan base and see if your fan base is willing to throw some money at you because they love your art. It's a good way to gauge where your fan base is. But again, it's about producing. It's about producing content, and I think that's the main thing, is make sure that you continue to produce content. And where you put it, how you put it out there, that's up to you. But I don't think that a crowdfunder should be the only way for you to do those things. I think you should look other ways, other avenues.
I think that's the biggest thing. Is one of the things I've been looking at is my 2023 strategy, and it's really about grassroots. It's really about community. It's really about getting out there and getting the brand out there. And crowdfunding, it helps to get a small collective of eyes on it, but it's not going to get me to where I want to go long term.
Yeah, Instagram has introduced one now too. Patrons, if you draw a page a week or bi-weekly, I'm sure patrons will be happy to. Yeah, absolutely. You heard about that? Instagram has introduced that feature now, where you can subscribe, like you have subscriptions on Instagram.
Yeah, they keep sending me. I haven't even looked at it. They said you can.
They send that.
Haven't done it yet.
Yeah, they send that stuff all the time. Yeah, no, thank you guys for the feedback and for getting involved in the conversation. We appreciate it. That's what we want to do with these topics. But yeah, no, so that's good stuff. Good stuff.
It's good stuff. So now what we're gonna do is gonna remind everybody out there who's watching in silence, if you haven't subscribed to Catch the Craze, why you should subscribe to Catch the Craze. But you're not gonna listen to us because who wants to hear from us? Hear from our previous guests. And then when we come back, we're bringing in D.W. Howard onto the show. So here we go.
It's Monty Moore. I'm a 30-year comics veteran in comics, games, and movies, and you've been watching one of my absolute favorite podcasts, Catch the Craze.
You are watching Catch the Craze.
What am I listening to?
And you're listening to Catch the Craze.
Where are all the indies at?
A Catch the Craze podcast.
What are you watching?
I'm watching Catch the Craze.
What are you gonna do?
Subscribe now to Catch the Craze, the #1 show online for independent.
Have you subscribed to?
You are an independent. Catch the craze. Making moves on your own. Catch the craze. On your grind in the streets. Catch the craze. Join the movement. Catch the craze.
DW in the house. What's
Hey,
up?
what's going on, guys? And just so you know, I was listening before. You got the left coast covered now too, because I'm in California in 90-degree heat. And out here for us Mexicans, we cook our rice in chicken broth. So
My grandmother did that. Yes, my grandmother does that.
All right,
So,
all right.
We got it all covered here. So
Yeah, we're all over the country right now, bro. We're from the east to the west coast. Oh man,
That's
I
right.
love it. I love it. D.W. Howard, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on, sir, and talking to us about your creative journey, your stuff that you're working on, that you're going to be launching pretty soon on, a crowdfunding platform, not Kickstarter in this case, but Indiegogo, which is the other one that's out there. Ring Cross Press is the company. BloodWorld is the book. But before we get into your books and your company, just introduce yourself to the audience. Tell us who you are, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So like you said, I'm D.W. Howard. My name's David. I go by the handle Nim. Most people know me by Nim, Nemesis. I write for Comic Crusaders. I also write comics for another company, which I think you guys know, ASAP Imagination. So Paul Hayden. I write OPSEC for him, and I'll give a little plug because he'll be happy with me. OPSEC 2 just came out this month, so it's on sale right now, so you can go check that out. But I'm a writer. I don't have the artistic skill you guys do. The best I could do is draw SpongeBob and stuff like that for my kids. I write, and I write comic books. But before I started writing comic books, I've been a writer for about 40 years, writing short stories, horror stories. I wrote my first horror story when I was 8. So I've got a book coming out later this year. It's a psychological, like a paranormal thriller coming out. And I love to write. And so BloodWorld, it came out of my imagination. I'm one of those, guys that it's like anal. I mean, I have to admit it. I'm anal about writing down history and coming up with long histories. And I wrote 80 pages of history for this world before I even thought about doing anything with it. And so that's the kind of things that I like to do. So.
Gotcha. And I do have to ask, DW, what was your first horror movie that prompted you to write a horror story at 8 years old? Like, what were you watching when you were a kid?
Oh man, there's two that I remember as a kid that really got me into horror. First was an old one. I don't know if you guys would know this, but it's Wait Until Dark, starring Audrey Hepburn.
Wow.
Great movie. Kind of scary. It's not a classic horror movie. And then the other one was The Exorcist.
All right.
So actually, I have a podcast called Cinema Crusaders, and it's one of those foundational horror movies. We talked about it.
Yeah.
We were doing Halloween Movie Madness, and we talked about The Exorcist. So I love that movie. That one and The Omen scared the hell out of me as kids, and I loved it. So
I don't know if you heard of this movie, DW, called The Entity. You ever heard of The Entity?
I have.
It was about this woman who was haunted by this ghost, and it would just do terrible things to her. And I remember watching this thing as a little kid, and I was like, oh hell no, like that is insane. And I've loved horror movies ever since I was a kid. My problem with horror movies today is that they don't scare me enough anymore. You know what I mean? Like everything is gore, and it's not like the psychological fear that I used to have as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and for fear of getting off track, because you could get me talking about horror movies forever. But like I said, OPSEC is out, and one of the things in OPSEC is this team. I love the X-Files, and they're a paranormal investigation team for the government. But they got one of their partners as an evil doll that's possessed, and all of that came out of something that scared the hell out of my brother and I in the 70s, which is this movie called Magic, starring Anthony Hopkins. And short story here real quick is that there was this the commercial for that would come on, and my brother would scream in fear every time it came on because it's just this marionette with these evil eyes talking. Ooh. And my mom had these old dolls that were broken in the back of our house. And so you go down there and the light was off in the hallway, and you'd walk with your back to these dolls, and the eyes were broken, and they flip open, and you could hear them, and we would just tear ass out of the back, man. And so, yeah, can you imagine being like 7 years old? You hear these dolls' eyes open behind you with the dark hallway. It was just forget about it, you know. So.
Oh man, oh that's up. Hey, what's going on, man?
No, I haven't seen Smile. Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
That was for you. That was the question. Was for you.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie yet. I got to check that out. I'm actually for Comic Crusaders. I'm covering Scream Fest, which is a horror film festival out here in LA right now. So
nice.
So I'm kind of like horror movied out at the moment. So
yeah, no. I knew I was telling you about that earlier today. The gentleman just made the comment. He was talking about Smile, how creepy that movie is. It's like one of those creepy movies, you know, with that whole Smile thing. But going back to your writing, DW. So you've been writing for a long time. When did you start writing comics? Like, how was that transition from, like, I guess you were writing prose at the time into comics? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I've been writing prose for a long, long time, and it's one of those situations where I've been writing, and I was writing either behind the scenes or under a pseudonym. I'd thrown away a bunch of novels, and my wife was finally like, you know, that's it. You're gonna put this stuff out there. I was like, okay. And anyway, and you know, and I give her all the credit for making me do it, you know. So but I was friends with Paul through Comic Crusaders, Paul Hayden of ASAP Imagination, and he was talking to me one day, and we were talking about different things, and I was giving him some ideas and stuff that I was looking at and stuff like that. And he's like, "Hey, do you want to write a comic book?" And I love comics, you know, and I was doing comic reviews, and I said, "Sure." And I sat down and I started doing world building with him and helping, you know, behind the scenes develop the bad guys, you know, some of the bad guys in that world. And I love writing bad guys, you know, big surprise. I'm a horror writer who likes writing bad guys. And so, you know, and that was how it came about, you know, and I'd always loved comic books, but I was like, you know, how do I get into that? I was like, I you know, because I was thinking, you know, I've read Dark Horse, and I've read other indies, and I've read Image and everything, but it was like, it seemed like the kind of thing where you got to know somebody. And then it was like Paul came along and did that, and so I started writing for him, and then I was like, I really got the bug for it. I love it, and it's a lot like writing screenplays, which I've done as well. You know, it's very similar, writing the scripts and everything. And so you know, then it was kind of a, do you guys allow cursing on your podcast? It was kind of like
just yeah, I was just go ahead.
It was excrement or get off the pot, you know. So I was like, okay, you know. So I was like, yeah. And so I was like, you know what? If I'm going to do this, you know, I'm going to do this, you know. So it's like, okay, I'm going to still write books, and I'm still going to write short stories, and I'm still going to write poetry. But it's like, I love this as well. So yeah, let's do it. And so I'm on top of writing for Paul, and on top of writing books and writing other stuff in my my spare time. I was like, it's time for Raincross to become a thing and do this other vision that I had as well, you know. So because it's like, if this is what you love, you know, you got to do it, and no one's going to see your stuff if you don't do it and put it out there. So
no, agreed, man. You have so you have this company, you know, Raincross Press, that you're starting to work on. As far as your world building, though, before we even get into that, I know that you said you sat down and you wrote 80 pages of this thing. When you're writing a comic book, DW, do you sit down and basically write almost like a prose, and then take that and break it up into panels and then dialogue? Or like, what's your process for writing comics? Because I think that everybody's got a different way of doing it. And I'm always, you know, just amazed by how everybody has a different way to do it, but everybody gets to the final you know, product the same way. So what is your process of creating these comics when you're writing?
Sure. It really depends. With the ASAP, the comics I do for ASAP, I really kind of sit down and I imagine it as a movie in my head, and I just write the whole outline of it. And for each panel, I basically write a sentence, you know, and I don't even do the dialogue. I write a sentence and I go through all the panels and all the pages, and I see the what is going on in my head, and then I see the page in my head, and I try and see it how I want it. And the thing I always tell the artists I work with is like, this is how I see it in my head. You know, you're the artist. It's like, if you have a better way of doing it, we got to talk because we're a collaborative team. And I put that at the top of all my scripts, but that's how I do it for that, because it's not my world. I'm playing in Paul's world, and I know a lot of the background for, what's going on there. And I have all of that written down in what I call my Bible for my script, and that's kind of like how I communicate that to the artist and to myself, is keeping track of, who all the people are and what's going on and stuff like that. BloodWorld is a little different because BloodWorld was originally supposed to be a book series. And so for the book series, I wrote all of this history, and there's more than just the history. I mean, there's technical specs and just a whole bunch of stuff going on. And I got a cat trying to get on screen here. And I wrote all that, and then I looked at it, and I'm already writing another book series. I was like, I don't really have time to do this book. And I've written so much here that it would really be wasted as a book, because I'd have a microscope on this one thing, And then I was talking to some friends of mine and other writers, and they were like, yeah, we really want to get in on this as well. And I was like, okay. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, I think this would be better for a visual medium. And by this time I was writing comics as well. And I was like, yeah, this has got to be a comic, and then I was like, and I kind of evolved my thinking from there, because I was like, I've always loved 2000 AD and heavy metal. And I was like, you know what? The United States doesn't have anything like that. We've never done anything like that. I was like, well, damn, America, we gotta have our own. And I know that's like, I mean, they're up here, way the hell up here, and I'm down here starting off. But it's like, this is the beginning of what I hope will be a magazine that people will enjoy. And that was the kind of idea is that I've created this BloodWorld universe. And my tagline for all my writers is we've got 300 billion people living in this universe, 300 billion different stories, tell one, and that's how we're going. So, yeah.
I like that.
We have a question from Aiba. He says, hey, David, compared to other types of writing, like say prose, how difficult is comics writing for you?
Apples and oranges, really. Prose writing takes a heck of a long time, just because of how you do it. Plus, a lot of the things that I would do descriptor wise that take time for editing and thinking about how I want to do mood and stuff like that. That slack is being picked up for me by the artist, and that's why, the artist writer team is so important in comics, so I may take 3 pages to describe a mood or a scene and, a series of actions, whereas the artist is doing that for me with, what he's putting on or what they're putting onto the panels and stuff like that. So, but as far as for me personally, I honestly enjoy writing comics more than I do writing books. Not to say that I don't like writing books, but I think it's more fun because it happens faster for me as far as just natural writing process. Because I could take what I see in my head and put it right down on the page really quickly. And then I'm one of those weird writers that likes to talk the dialogue as I'm writing it. So I do the different voices and everything while I'm writing. So it was really strange, but there it is. So
I was going to ask you that about the dialogue. You said you write a sentence and then you keep it moving. At what point do you bring in the dialogue? Is it after it's drawn, or is it still during the writing process? You just wait till the very end to put it in.
It's before it's drawn. It's after I do the outline. So I like to make sure I've got everything there and I've got it so it fits, within the 22 pages and everything. And then I go back and I flesh everything out. So once I take that one sentence for a panel, then, I do a description of the page if I've got a specific layout in mind. And usually that's only if there's like a splash page, or I want, for instance, like if I want a character throwing a knife out of one panel and having it splash into a character in another panel or something like that, then I'll make sure I put that in there. But, I flesh out all those panels and everything, and then I write the dialogue at the same time. So basically I'm just getting the story out of my head and onto the page so I know what's going on, and then I go back and I put the meat on the bones. So
sounds good, man. Sounds good. So tell us a little bit about BloodWorld, man. BloodWorld #1. I know you mentioned you said the word magazine. Is it going to be that? Are you calling it a magazine because of the size of the book, or are you going to have articles within it? What's BloodWorld going to look like?
Well, it's BloodWorld, and it's going to be I'm calling it a magazine because of the length. So, if you've ever picked up a copy of 2000 AD or Heavy Metal, when everything gets going, I would like for us to put one of these out quarterly, so every 3 months, and it's going to take a while for us to get there. I know that, but each issue is going to be 80 pages long. So we're going to have 6 stories in each issue, and then 8 pages of additional content, and those could be a variety of different things. And the additional content is to give you more insight into what's going on in the world, or give you more detail and things like that. So, for instance, one of my artists right now is drawing one of the additional pages, and it's schematics for a suit of battle armor within the universe, and we have a plan that we're going to do like a big poster with more detail and stuff like that. But, that's the kind of thing. And then the 6 stories in each issue. Right now, we're planning on 12 pages for each one. So for 72 pages of actual story. But that can, vary depending on who's coming in and out and stuff like that. But, we'll have story arcs that conclude, and then we'll move on to something else and things like that. But that's the basic plan for BloodWorld right now. And so that's why I call it a magazine, is just because of the length. But BloodWorld is a setting where people are writing stories within that setting, and the setting is far future. It's the 26th century, 2587 specifically in our solar system, and basically Earth has gone to hell, So, and everybody who could get off Earth got the hell off Earth, And there's 2 major factions out there. One is around Saturn, and one is around Jupiter. And they are enemies of each other. And the faction around Jupiter is transhumanist, so they have incorporated technology in their body, and basically think Game of Thrones meets the Harkonnens from Dune, and you got a good idea what's going on out there. And then the other group, they're all about genetics and genetic engineering and harnessing the power of genetics. And one of my stories in this is something called Blood Race. And Blood Race are the assassins and spies for this other organization that's around Saturn. And they have the ability to real time change their body and morph their body to grow weapons or armor or whole sorts of things. But every time they do this, there's a possibility that they'll do genetic damage to themselves, and they could just turn into biological goo, and just die, Meanwhile, on Earth, all the people that didn't get off Earth or weren't smart enough to get off of Earth, they're left there in this crumbling society, and that's going on as well. And so there's these 3 pillars. And so BloodWorld is about what's going on there, and the individual stories. That's what my other writers are telling, is individual stories within this setting, whereas I'm telling the big stories that are driving this setting forward. So one of my stories is about a blood wraith assassin, and the other story is about those Harkonnens that I was talking about, over there in Jupiter. But it's about the queen and her family, and it's really, really kind of a Game of Thrones type story that I'm telling, but it's in space and far future, and added a little bit of Warhammer 40K as well, because I love 40K.
So DW, when you're saying you have other writers that are working on the book itself, also, do you give them prompts to write within the world, or are they free to maybe even create their own characters within that world? What are the parameters when you become a writer for a magazine like BloodWorld?
No, I gave them a world. I gave them the background, and I said, go ahead and tell me what you want to do. And as the editor of the magazine and the owner of the IP, I always look at whatever everybody's bringing in, and if something breaks my world, then obviously we've got to change it. But if it's a great new idea, I'm always open for that and incorporating it into the universe that I've created. And my long-term vision for this magazine is that eventually writers will pop off this magazine and either spawn individual titles or go to do other things. And I want this to be a showcase for new writers and new artists, the people to come in and do their thing, and grow this universe and the lore that's along with it, and that's really kind of what I'm hoping for. So
sweet. Any specific reason for the number 2587? Does that number have any significance, or was it just?
No, it was just random. I mean, I started writing the history, and I wanted something far enough out that the technology and everything made sense. But really, I started from right now, literally 2022, and started writing. And I was like, okay, this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and actually. Paul Hayden's ASAP Imagination, they did a anthology called Perspectives. One of the story I wrote a story in there, a prose short story, and it's a prequel story to BloodWorld, and it takes place about 250 years before BloodWorld starts. So,
wow, awesome. How far into the production process of the magazine are you guys? Where are you as far as producing?
Well, we've got all the scripts written for the first issue, and some of our writers have really, have really gotten into it and have actually written 2 or 3 scripts ahead. Wow. And we've hired all of our artists, and we actually have artists working on art right now because, like you guys were talking about, we're going to do crowdfunding, but one of the things I want to do is build up, go out there and talk about this project so people will be interested in it. That's number one. Number 2 is like, there was no way in hell I wanted to do crowdfunding over the holidays. Right. I was like, that is insane. So I was like, so we're going to do that. We're going to start at the beginning of next year. And funnily enough, tax time, so we'll probably end our campaign right around the first beginning of March, so it'll start in January, middle of January or beginning of February, and then we'll go through March, and that's what we're looking to do because Christmas time, I don't know about everybody else, but we don't have any money in our house for anything else. So, and so that's what we're planning to do. But we've got artists working right now because I did. I do. And I like what's going on with 2000 AD. I'm not reading heavy metal right now. I can't find heavy metal where I'm at the moment. So, but I am reading 2000 AD. I've been a big fan of it. I like what's going on. I wish they would get back to more Judge Death with Dredd and stuff like that. I would love for them to get back to that kind of stuff. But I still enjoy it. I enjoy British comics as a general rule, Not that I don't like American comics, but I like a lot of British comics. Surprise, surprise, I work for a British company as well. So, what was I saying? Oh, so we're doing that, and we've got artists working. And basically the other thing I wanted to do is like, there was no way I wanted to go into a crowdfunding campaign without finished pages of art. We're not going to put words on it, but I want people to see, an idea of what's going on. And we've got actually 6 different art teams working because each story is going to have a different flavor of art. And, not only that, we got one big name doing a cover for us. I'm hoping to get another big name, but if you guys are interested, I can tell you what the big name we signed is to do one of our art covers. So,
Yeah, I mean, if you're free to disclose that information, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. We got Ben Templesmith to do a cover for us. So he's going to be doing one of our covers. And I'm talking, we're going to see about another name, but we may have to wait on that, to see if we, once we get funded, how much money we have free. If we have enough money to afford that guy, then, we'll go with that cover. But, Ben's cover is going to be one of our stretch goals that we're going to have, among other things. So
wasn't he always featured in Sketch Magazine?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he did 30 Days a Night as well.
Yeah.
So he's going to be one of our cover artists on that. And we've got a mix of new and old artists, or new and established artists, I should say. I don't want to offend anybody. Working in our magazine. So we got some artists that, have done web comics that are coming over to do print for the first time and do something that I'm really happy with what they're giving us. I got a guy who is fairly new. And then one of our artists is from Mexico who has done stuff for heavy metal. Miguel Mora is going to be one of our artists. So he's going to be with us as well. So.
Awesome, man. It sounds like a big project, but a fun project, and something that it's something that, like you said, we don't have here. So it's something you're starting something completely different, man. And I congratulate you for that. That's great.
Thanks. And a lot of people seem to be really excited about it, and I hope that their excitement turns into more eyes, and hopefully people wanting to buy the book when it comes online. You know, I completely sympathize with what you guys were saying with crowdfunding. It's like I find myself up at 3 a.m. thinking about the campaign, and it hasn't even started yet. You know, and I'm like,
just wait.
yeah. So it's like it's just a constant thing. And you know, I will say though, it's like it's gotten to the point where I write for fun now, because it's like writing lets me escape from all of this other stuff. So
Yeah,
you know?
I hear you, man. I hear you. And so, are there plans? I mean, obviously, this is way in the future, but are you going to see how it does on crowdfunding before you commit to maybe a second issue, or are you thinking, you know what, regardless of how this does, I'm going to continue to build a fan base and continue with issue 3 because I want this magazine to take off?
Regardless, I want to move forward with this. And
Good.
one of the things I will say is that initially I didn't want to be a publisher. I was going to go with somebody else because I do want to, like you guys were saying, crowdfunding I think is a great tool, and I think you know it's going to help me get somewhere. But I wanted to help me establish the capital so that I could do other things, you know, and you know, and obviously it can help you get eyes on your project as well to a certain extent. But I've decided that we're going to publish as well, you know, so we're going to have it through our website. You know, I would love to get in brick and mortar, and that's going to be me working the phones. And then I happen to live in the LA area, so it's easy for me to go, you know, get in my car and drive for an hour and go to like 5,000 comic shops, you know, so, you know, I'll be visiting all those and everything. But yeah, I mean, that's the idea. I mean, and one of my guys that's in with me, we've even talked about, I would love, with everything we're doing and the setting and everything, I want to do a tradable card game. I want to do a miniatures battle game, kind of like 40K, but squad based. I would love to do all those things, but those are dreams that are far in the future. Right now, I'm focused on, you know, the campaign. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I've got all those ideas, and I've kind of got a business model. Well, not kind of. I do have a business model where it's like we're going to have these issues, but each of these stories has arcs. So once the arc is completed, you know, we'll break that out into single issue floppies or trades and sell those as well, you know, and have those out there. So, but yeah, we're doing all that. And I guess one of the things is that, you know, one of my selling points is that, you know, we're going to plan on selling print, but obviously digital is the future. And so I've already decided that when our crowdfunding goes up, we're going to give everybody out there our 80 pages of content for $10. So, I don't think you can beat that price. That's my personal opinion, and I'm kind of biased, but you know, I hope that people will come and check us out and give us a chance for that. So,
yeah, DW, that sounds great, man. That sounds great.
Yeah.
I think you have a great business model in mind. And yeah, I mean, listen, you have some time before obviously the end of the year, and I know you're putting all the pieces in place right now. I love that you have this much already done, and I look forward to seeing it. And like we were saying even before you came on, and I think you might have posted, I'm a fan of the print, man. I'm a fan of the print. I have to see it in print. So yeah, when this thing launches, man, you know, just let us know, and I'm definitely $10.
Yeah.
Sign them up. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm one of those weirdos that likes to smell the ink, man. I go into a bookstore and I'm just like, yeah, come on, bring it on, baby. You know, so you know, I think you know, it's probably a generational thing. I think you guys are right. It's a little old school, but man, not to mention that I won't mention my age, but my eyes are starting to go a little bit. So when I try and read something on a phone, I'm like this, you know. So
I'm telling you, I gotta turn it sideways, bro. I can't read it up regular. So yeah, are you going to be doing any conventions? Maybe, I mean, the end of the year is already here, but like, are you planning anything?
Right now, no. But ideally, you know, and from my lips to God's ears and fingers crossed, you know, this gets going and everything at the end of next year, I would love to be at a convention selling not only this stuff, but also, you know, hopefully doing some stuff with ASAP as well, because I got things coming out over there. So I that is my plan, is next year this time. I'd love to get to LA Comic-Con and even San Diego. You know, that's probably a stretch, and get out there and sell some of this stuff, because we've already got merch. I don't know if you can see behind me. We got shirts and other stuff that we're selling, and we're just going to have more as it comes online. Like I said, we're doing we plan on having as one of our perks on the crowdfunding is having a poster of one of the battle mechs and having it all schematic out, because all of us as geeks are nerds. We love looking at that stuff. We love reading.
Absolutely.
It's like, but hey, you got to know, it's the kind of stuff that I would pour hours over looking at Star Wars stuff and Star Trek and things like that.
Absolutely. the art books on that stuff is just amazing. Just the behind the scenes stuff. You want to know how the things are made. I think it's just our curiosity. But yeah, no, listen, DW, man, thank you so much for coming on the show, brother, and sharing, your vision, your ideas. We're gonna have to get Paul out here to the States and meet somewhere and hang out, because Paul Hayden's a great dude. I'm looking forward to working with him on the anthology that we're working on together, Animatronic, which will be coming out at some point once we finish it up. But yeah, dude, and listen, you're welcome back anytime. I know there's time before your campaign launches, but for everybody watching, it's going to be on Indiegogo. There is a sign up page out right now, so
links in the chat.
Sign up. Yeah, the links in the chat. Make sure you sign up, and let's get it going, man. Let's get it going, DW.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and I'd love to be back on, especially when we get into the campaign. And if you check out, we've also got a website. We've got new art coming on. We've got art designs, and as we start getting finished pages of art, I plan on giving clips of that as well and giving people a preview. In fact, we've got some art pages back already. I wish that I had thought to give them back to you guys, but I think people are going to be really happy with it. And so I'm looking forward to getting this on page and getting in front of all of you, because, I know you're all going to love it. So
perfect.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Thank you for coming on the show. And, again, next year when you guys are getting ready for the big day, hit us up.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you so much, guys.
Yeah. DW, what's your website before you go? Just so that people know.
RaincrossPress.com. So we are Raincross Press on Twitter. We're Raincross Press on Instagram, Raincross Press on Facebook. So it's easy to find us all the different places. So yeah, come check us out.
Absolutely.
You got it, brother.
Absolutely.
Thanks
again, a lot, guys.
You got it.
Take care, man. All right.
So that was a good show. I like his plan. The reason why I like his plan is because he's taking his time. You know what I'm saying? And how many times you see people rush to the finish line. They're taking their time. They had the landing page. They're promoting the landing page. They're building momentum. You know what I'm saying? All the right things. They're doing all the right things.
It's perfect. It's perfect. I think that's what you have to do as an indie. You have to start early. Start promoting early. It's not that the campaign isn't live yet, but he's like, hey, listen, it's coming. I have this idea, and he's having conversations. So you see his face. Oh, that's DW. Oh, drop some great names for covers on the book. So that the artwork is going to look great. $10 for a book. That's incredible for a magazine that size, 80 pages. That's unheard of. So yeah, no, excellent chat. And yeah, he was great. And thank you so much for everyone who submitted questions and got involved. Big shout out to Gilbert, obviously Creators Outlet, Mr. Pace, how are you? And Anibal Arroyo.
Yes, Mr. Arroyo's con pollos. Yeah. I love this format. Is the format we're doing going forward. I love the engagement. That's what it's all about. And I love the topics, and if you join us tomorrow morning, because tomorrow morning is going to be another great topic, and we're going to be talking about online bullying and how to combat that, and what should you do when you're the target of it. So that's going to be an interesting conversation tomorrow morning. But yeah, and don't forget, we're down to the last 22 hours, 23 hours. I don't know what. And for There's Needle in My Toilet on Kickstarter. And remember, there are 2 books. There's Duty Part 3, and there's also Duty's Monsters on Planet Cthulhu. These are all the 3 covers. They all connect. These covers connect like a puzzle. So if you want one, spread, if you're a collector, you get 2 sets. One to read and one to put on your wall. So yeah, that's available. There's also the sketchbook for Duty's Monsters on Planet Cthulhu, plus tons and tons of stuff. And yes, we're down to the final. Thanks, brother. We're down to the final 23 hours. and doing, and thank you for the newest backer while we were live, who backed the campaign. So, again, I'm looking forward to it. Tomorrow's the morning brew. I'll be joining live stream tomorrow as well, and I'll be closing out the campaign tomorrow. So, and I'm excited. Another one in the books. We're almost there. A few hours left, and yeah. And then don't forget, if you're in Texas, join me at the Cowtown Comic Con at Dallas Fort Worth, and it's gonna be fun. I'll be there. Paul Gomez will be there. Laurie Calcaterra will be there. It's gonna be a hoot.
Big time. And don't forget, if you haven't done so yet, check out Wayward Raven Media. We suck at comics. Sebastian Bonet's book is in there. I lettered it, so check that out. Show some love, some support that way. And yeah, man, that's all I got. We'll see you guys in the morning tomorrow.
Yeah.
Don't forget, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m.
Hit that like
Central.
button.
Yes, hit the like button. Go ahead, Sam. Do your thing.
Yes, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Leave a comment below. Tell a friend. Where do all the indies go? Catch the craze, baby. We out. I'm Sam the Crazy Man Vera.
George the Cuba Medina. Peace.
No, it's about my friend Acquiesce. Say my name. Right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh,
He described me. He said, I'm the
What? Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze. Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.